Alright, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for quite a while now, and it has to do with the education system. Of course, I'm not that too surprised that this is on my mind, because one thing that has bugged me a lot, especially being in school here in Canada, is that the education system could be quite a bit better. And this really stems down to is not even like the specific methods that are used at school to teach us, but it has more to do with the whole purpose of the education system, which is not really to develop our creativity. And of course, this is no secret, right? It's not to develop our creativity. It's not to make people who are going to be successful in life, even, I'd say. It's more to create workers and create people to keep society going. And that's the reason the education system was originally created, is to have more factory workers. And today that still continues because no one's bothered to change it. And this has really begun to bug me as of about a month ago when in my theory of knowledge class, we brought up, or my teacher, my excellent teacher actually, brought up the topic of mathematics and the fact that the math, as it's taught at schools, is not really math. It's more like the structure of arithmetic. It's not really math. It's a good analogy that he read to us a mathematician's lament by I think it was Ian Stewart or something like that, or I can't remember. But basically, a good analogy for this is it's like saying that learning music is learning how to read musical notes on a piece of paper. That's basically what we do in math. We learn how to read mathematical notes on a piece of paper and how to manipulate them. But we don't actually do any math, which is the actual solving of problems and finding patterns in things, basically. It doesn't even really require numbers. But basically, the reason I'm bringing this up is that this is something that I haven't felt too good about. Up until this school year, I'd never really been introduced to physics or real math as something that even existed. And when I found out about both these things, first physics through my physics teacher, who happens to be the same as my TOK teacher, and now about math, I felt kind of cheated because, I felt that I've lost the ability to learn about these things because I haven't really been exposed to them. And in part, that's because of the education system. In part, it's also because of the teachers I've had in previous years who who had the choice to expose us to these things, but chose not to. Partially out of laziness, partially because they themselves probably didn't know the importance of it. And this really shows one of the main problems in the education system, which is that teachers, but not only teachers, but also students and the people who create the education system don't really understand what it is to learn, I don't think. Or if they do, they don't want us to understand what it is to learn. I found that real learning is when you don't know what the heck you're supposed to do. That's whenever I have that feeling, that I'm going into something and I want to create something, right? Like I want to create a bike tachometer, which is what my current project is for when it comes to electronics. I go into something and I'm like, wait, where do I start? I don't even know. Then I know that I'm really going to learn something. I've had this feeling in physics. I've had this feeling with my electronics projects. And today I tried soldering. Some people will laugh, but it's baby steps, right? Anyways, yeah, it's things that whenever you feel as if you don't know what the heck you're doing, then you can really learn. But at school, everything is so systematic, and there's always, the way that it's taught is that your goal is to get the right answer and not to explore the way that not to explore, not to be creative and come up with an answer. It's to follow a set of rules, especially in a subject like mathematics. Follow a set of rules that the teacher teaches you in order to get the correct answer, and then to manipulate numbers using those rules, or manipulate facts using those rules. And that's not true learning, because you don't actually teach yourself this. You don't actually teach yourself that organically. And this is something that I really want to change. Maybe it'll even be like a life project for me to change the way that math especially, but the education system in general works, because it's killing a lot of young people. Not literally, of course, but there's so many people who never get exposure to math, never get exposure to things. They get exposure to the way that things are taught in the education system, and because of that, they choose to go down career paths and lifestyle paths that aren't ideal, aren't the best. And that's something that bugs me, because I don't want to end up in that situation. I want to have a life that I truly enjoy. But, you know, this is perhaps a bit of a depressing topic, but I also do feel a bit good about this. I know that I can change things in the first place by learning myself and teaching myself stuff, you know. Maybe I'm not learning anything abstract or creative and relating to math in school, but I have the internet in my hands. I have excellent resources, so I can start by teaching myself, and other people who feel the same way can do the same thing. And that's something that I really, really appreciate about living in the 21st century here. I know that 20 years ago or earlier, if I had been sent to a school and taught, you know, to public school and taught math by a set of rules rather than the way that math really could be taught, I would have probably never even found out that there was such thing as abstract math until I got into university. And even now, right, if I want to go and study and learn math, and learn creative math, as I'm going to call it, or some other subject, learn it really well, I'd have to wait until university, unless I took the time to learn it myself. And so that's something that I'll have to live with and overcome, I guess. But yeah, that's my vlog, I guess, and I'm gonna also try to make videos for whenever I make projects. So I'm working on a bike tachometer for my rusty scrap bike back here, and I'll show what I do for that, because I think there's some interesting ideas. One of them that I've had actually was I wanted to make a variable potentiometer. Potentiometer, variable resistor, so that basically whenever the front wheel turns, there's something that slides up and down a piece or several pieces of metal and sends a different voltage there depending on what resistor is attached to that piece of metal. Of course, I found out today that you can't solder to aluminum foil, so I'm gonna have to think of another solution. Oh yeah.